let me explain to you what happened in Chile. The Israeli ambassador was basically snubbed because the Israelis killed a Palestinian boy, and Chile were like, you know what? We don't want your credentials. So, the Chilean ministry said in a statement early Saturday that the postponement should be understood as a response within the framework of the political sensitivity generated by the death of a Palestinian teenager. Okay? So basically, they're being very clear that, yeah, we are refusing to accept the Israeli ambassador's credentials because you guys killed a Palestinian boy. It is related. We don't want you sending an Israeli ambassador to our country if that's how you behave towards Palestinians. And that's not something you see every day, right? That's not something you see every day. This is, of course, very embarrassing for the Israelis, right? And so they summoned the ambassador, the Chilean ambassador, in response. This is how it always goes, right? Tit for tat. Right. But the Israelis, let me explain something, man. The Israelis, they really crave legitimacy. They want to be accepted as, a real country, to hide the fact that actually they're colonizing Palestinian land. And it was always at the expense of someone else, right? And they want to be seen as, oh, we have the best arms. Look how many weapons we sell. How many Uzis and Desert Eagles and drones and all the nice things we're giving to Azerbaijan. Oh, look, we have Pegasus. Oh, look at all these cyber warfare companies that we have with all these people that are going out from the tech units straight into the private sector. They're the best in the world. They want this prestige. They seek it so desperately, which is why I explained to you guys that the Arab countries like Bahrain, like UAE, when they gave Israel, they basically normalized ties with Israel. They gave up the only thing that they had. They gave up the only leverage that they had, which was to refuse to recognize Israel, to deny Israel legitimacy. Because that is the one thing that Israel seeks the most, right? And you have in Chile, by the way, if I'm not mistaken, roughly 1 million Palestinians because of the diaspora, right? Now, when you colonize someone's country, the way that the Israeli settlers came and colonized Palestine, many Palestinians went to Jordan, they went to Syria, they went to Lebanon. They fled because they were kicked out of their homes. You have towns, villages completely wiped out. But not only in the surrounding areas, not only in the surrounding countries, but also you have a big diaspora in South America. You also, in Argentina, you had a Syrian diaspora. But again, when we say that the president is refusing to meet with the Israeli ambassador and take his credentials, that counts for something. And this is what happens when you have people with balls and principles. And usually you'll see this kind of stuff from the left, right? And after all, Gabriel Boric, he's from the left. And countries, let me give you another example. Venezuela, for example, broke off ties with Israel, if I'm not mistaken. They're at least certainly rocky, right, to put it mildly. And once again, when you take away their legitimacy, they go nuts. They hate it. There's an Israeli official who said that if Syria had accepted to normalize ties with Israel, that Syria would not be in its current state. What does that mean? Let me translate. He's saying that if Syria had just shut the fuck up and accepted Israel's existence, even as Israel is occupying Syria's Golan Heights, then the quote-unquote civil war and the airstrikes that Israel launches every week against Syria and the Americans in the Northeast taking the oil and Hasake and Deir ez-Zor, and all of this would not be happening. That's what I understood. I don't know what else he could possibly mean. Syria would not be in the current state it's in. What state is he referring to? The fucking war, obviously. What else? So, I'm surprised they didn't call the Chilean president anti-Semitic already. When Joe Biden went to meet with the Israelis after they killed Shireen Abu Akleh, who is not just Palestinian, but an American citizen, right? Al Jazeera journalist doing her job, clearly marked press. This is the kind of shit that you do. You behave like this, right? You don't go to the Israelis and act like they did not murder one of your own citizens. A journalist who ironically was covering Israeli raids. If the Israelis were not raiding Jenin, she wouldn't even have been there. But you understand what I'm saying? Like, when I'm talking about diplomacy, I'm talking about how you interact with other, entities, let's say, right, in this case. If Joe Biden had any self-respect, if he really was a president for all Americans, including Shireen, he would never have gone there and acted like it's like, you stepped on an ant or something. I mean, that's the kind of value that he seems to attribute to one of his own citizens. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. Like, the Chileans care more about Palestinians than Joe Biden does about his own fellow countrymen, or I should say in this case, countrywomen. Right? Just for contrast. Just for comparison's sake. And this is why the United States does not like left-wing governments in Latin America. It's not the only reason. It's one of many reasons, because then they start doing stuff like this, right? And the Israeli lobby, the Zionist lobby, they sure as hell don't like that.